Alright, I just got done doing a bunch of calculations. We got about 70 acres left to plant. 5 of those going to be test plots. So just figure on overlap, figure 75 acres to plant to get done at 150 pounds an acre, which is the rate that we're using on this variety. That comes out to 11,250 pounds that I need. We got 4,000 in the drill, 500 in the seed tender right now, so it's 4,500. So that leaves me with 6,750 pounds of seed that I need. So I'm gonna order 2 bulk bags of seed in the morning from Helena. They give me 5,000 pounds, and then leaves me with roughly 1,800 pounds of seed that I need. Pioneer and UT is going to be bringing out around 41 bags. 41 bags times 50 pounds a bag is 2,050. So buying that 2 bulk bags, as long as I don't overlap too much, should get me done with just a little bit left in the grain drill. But in order to make that work here on this farm, we're on a 29 acre farm. I mapped out 5 acres on this farm that we're going to leave out. 5 acres of where some water drains and it stays wet and probably wouldn't yield much anyway. So we're going to plant 24 out of the 29 acres on this farm, and then that should leave me enough seed to do my test plots and then finish up the other farms in Madison County. As long as my calculations are correct, but my brain's fried. It's very possible that I made a mistake. Well guys, we don't like too much more today, about another 5 acres, and we'll be able to call it a day. Looks like I'll actually be able to get in at a reasonable time tonight and have a supper that doesn't cause me severe heartburn in the overnight hours from eating so late. That's a good thing too, because we're running low on fuel. I'm down below a quarter of a tank there, and I doubt I could run to midnight tonight without begging Kelly to bring me some fuel out here. But also I wanted to take this time to let y'all know about another milestone my YouTube channel has reached. We just surpassed 17,000 subscribers. I was actually going to record this clip yesterday in the daylight because I checked it. We just hit 17,000 and I was about to hit record on the button and checked it again, and someone had just unsubscribed and dropped me back down to 16,999. Right now we're at 17,008 subscribers, and you know, when I started this channel 5 years ago, you know, it was mainly a focus of just doing artistic harvest videos set to music, just something for me to be able to look back on years from now and see what our operation looked like then. And you know, we only did about 3 to 4 videos a year, but you know, a little over a year ago, I really started putting some serious effort. Once we got to 1,000 subscribers and I could start monetizing the videos, I really started putting into some serious effort of really, you know, showing our farm, you know, on a daily basis, what all goes into owning a farm, owning a business, putting in a successful crop, all the decisions we have to make. Now, you know, not just driving tractors out in the field, but all the behind the scenes stuff on what it takes to actually produce a crop is kind of our goal. And we, you know, we've been doing it really hardcore for a little over a year now, and you know, our channel has gone from 1,000 subscribers to now 17,000 subscribers in, you know, in about a 13-14 month period. And, you know, not just viewers from here in the U.S., we've got viewers all across the world. And it just absolutely blows my mind that we are now able to showcase our farm, what we do on our farm, our management practices, our farming practices. We're able to showcase that all over the world. It just blows my mind. I never would have dreamed in my wildest dreams that we would be here now. And I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of y'all that subscribe to our channel, that supports our channel, that watches our videos, that likes our videos, that comments on our videos. I just want to give you my sincere thanks for the support that y'all do. I mean, I can reliably count on at least 3,000 to 4,000 people watching our videos each time. And if we have something exciting happening or dramatic happening or something like that, you know, the potential is there a lot more. You know, I try to do my best to only put content out there that is either informative, educational, or at least somewhat entertaining. I know this definitely is not the most entertaining farming channel out there, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to educate people, the public, about how we do what we do and why we do what we do and everything that goes on into doing that. I hope that, you know, there are entertaining moments in most videos that also keep you entertained also. I hope, God willing, that we can continue to put out these types of videos, and I hope that we can continue to grow and become better at producing videos to give y'all content that you enjoy. But anyway, guys, thanks again, and I'll bring y'all back in the morning to see the finish of the planting of our 2022 wheat crop. All right, we finally got our test plots planted. It took us a couple hours this morning, so we're down to our last 35 acres of wheat plant. Woo! I'm so ready. Anyway, we got moved back over here onto the Todd farm. This is the first farm that we planted wheat on, what, like 3 weeks ago, I think, and I ran out of seed with about 5 acres left, so I'm just going to show you what the wheat that we planted 3 weeks ago, show you what it looks like now, and hopefully all this wheat we planted the last week, hopefully in a month or so, it'll look like this. Anyway, you can obviously tell where we planted and where we haven't planted. We got about 5 acres left here, left to plant. And just walk over here, show you what the wheat looks like that I've already planted. It looks pretty dang good. So it's come up to a real nice stand. We got a bunch of, I think that's chickweed and stuff coming up in the middles. I'm kind of surprised because we put down zedua, and I would have expected zedua to have kept this out. We've also got like some poana and stuff coming up, which is I don't want to see that. Anyway, you can see that little bitty bits of grass starting up in there. That's annual bluegrass, poana. It's called by several different names. And the zedua was most definitely supposed to keep that from germinating. That's probably one of the most serious weeds that we face in the wheat crop. Even though it's a really, really short growing grass, its root system is the most dense I've ever seen, and it's extremely competitive with the wheat on nutrients and stuff. And you have much of that come up out here, it'll definitely stunt your wheat and hurt your wheat yields a lot. You know, the zedua is really supposed to help minimize how much post-emergence herbicides we're going to have to put on here, because our post-emergent control options for that poana is pretty dang pricey, like $15 to $17 an acre, and that's why we put up the zedua. But for whatever reason, it doesn't look like zedua's doing the job this year. Of course, you know, we've had issues with chemicals really not working that well this year anyway, so it doesn't surprise me. Here's what that poana looks like, you know, once it gets well established. It doesn't get much taller than that. But you can see it's got an incredibly dense fibrous root system that's very competitive. Now this is poana that was already up and established whenever we planted our wheat, and the Roundup we sprayed killed that. But obviously, because wheat's not a GMO, you know, we can't come in here and spray Roundup again to kill the poana, because it would kill the wheat too. So we've got to use other more expensive herbicide options. Although with the price of Roundup right now, if you can even get it, the cost is probably going to be about the same anyway. So a little disheartening on the weed control so far, but we'll get it taken care of. But I'm really pleased with the stand of wheat, at least on the 60-something acres that I've already planted. At least I know we're going to get off to a good start on this and set us up for hopefully what's going to be another record-setting wheat crop this year. So anyway, got 5 acres on this farm, then we'll get moved up to the last farm on Baker and get this wheat planting wrapped up. All right, just got this little bit done over here, ready to head to the last farm of wheat. And guess where it's at? Yep, it's over there on the Baker farm, our farthest farm away, and it's lunchtime, and the traffic's probably going to be terrible. We're already in the Jackson City limits, so we don't have to go that far, maybe about 3 miles or so to get to the farm, but it's down one of the worst roads that we got. And you watched our probably close to the end of one of our cotton picking videos, had a confrontation, met a car in the road, and I literally could not go anywhere. There's no room to pull off on the side, and he couldn't grasp the concept that he needed to back up to get out of my way. So while I sat still, he then proceeded to drive his car straight through the ditch to get around me. So anyway, that's where we're going again. And like I do most of the time, especially in town, I like to try and set my GoPro up on the tractor, not necessarily just for filming purposes, but also in case if we were ever in an accident, we got at least some kind of video recording of what happened. So anyway, let's get on to the next one. Well, I don't think we're gonna get any beans cut today. It's 2:30 afternoon. We got about half of this farm done, and by the time we get done, then go back to the shop, get my combine, bring it all the way to Madison County. It'll be dark or a little after, and I don't think the wind that we got today is going to be blowing after dark. So rather than try to start back on beans in the dark, reckon we'll probably just call it an early day and get after it first thing in the morning and see how quick of work we can make of the last 130 acres of soybeans. I also wanted to ask y'all for a little bit of help, you know, especially if you own a farm or buildings that require maintenance. I had a guy that for the last probably 16, 17 years, he would travel from up north down south, and he does a lot of painting, barn painting, that sort of stuff, painting roofs and stuff, and I'd always been real happy with him. He does a good job, and for the longest while I thought he did it at a very reasonable price. He wasn't like, you know, a lot of these gypsies that travel around and water down the paint, and the paint only lasts a few years before it's got to be redone again. His paint jobs lasted a long time and did good. However, the last couple of jobs he's done for me past few years, his prices have steadily been increasing. But anyway, he called me again this fall, and you know, we just had that new holding bin put up, and the bin itself is galvanized, so it doesn't need any kind of painting, but the whole superstructure and the ladder and walkway and everything was just raw steel, because the cost of galvanizing metal is pretty dang expensive. They charge by the linear inch is what I was told. So anyway, we got raw steel, and back when the superstructure steel was delivered back in the summer, me, Carter, and Zach took our turns painting that before it was ever assembled. Well, anyway, it's all been assembled now. It's up and going. And where the superstructure had to be welded together, you know, obviously that's going to have to be painted again. And then the walkway and stairs, the guys brought that out whenever they built it, so it doesn't even have one coat of paint on it. Anyway, I asked the guy to come out and give me an estimate. If I supplied the paint, what would he charge labor-wise to put one more coat of paint on the superstructure, and then put 2 coats of paint on the stairwell and the catwalk? Now, we're not talking about using a paintbrush or a roller or anything like that. I mean, he's got big air sprayers and can make quick work of jobs like that. I've got a sprayer myself. It's a smaller sprayer, but I estimated it would take me about a day to put 2 coats on the stairs and walkways and 1 coat on the superstructure itself. But I thought, you know, if this guy's always done me a good job, saved me a day's worth of work at the end of the year when I could be doing something else, so I just get him to do it. I was guessing he'd probably charge, you know, $500 or so. You know, an 8-hour day, that's over $50 an hour, not having to supply any materials. Anyway, he shot me an estimate of $2,500. I actually had to get him to repeat it because I thought I'd misheard him. You know, here I am, I'm expecting $500, $750 tops. He shoots me $2,500, and I told him, man, there ain't no way I'm paying you to do that. I can do it myself in one day. Ain't no way I'm paying $2,500 for you to do that to save me 1 day's worth of work. And then he quickly comes back, well, I can lower the price to $2,100. I'm like, man, you're still way out of what I'm thinking. But anyway, appreciate you coming by and looking at it for me. But that's probably going, unless he changes his prices, that's the last time that he'll ever do anything for me again. Again, that's me supplying all the materials. All I need him to do is the labor. Anyway, bottom line is, if any of y'all know guys that travel, that do painting, that's quality, reliable, that doesn't water their paint down, let me know in the comments, because I mean, we got a bunch of old buildings. You know, occasionally I need a roof or some sides painted, stuff like that. And you know, last thing I want to do is pay one of these traveling guys, you know, money to do a job, and then come to find out that they're not, and come to find out that they water down their paint and the job doesn't last that long. So if y'all got any guys you have personal experience with and can recommend, please leave me their contact information in the comment section below. I'd appreciate it. Well guys, here it is, finally. Last pass of wheat planting 2021. 530 acres in the ground, the most wheat that we've ever planted in a year. Looking at prices well over $8 a bushel, record prices. So if we can just look out and get a good crop out of this, we're gonna be sitting pretty solid for next year. I don't expect a record 100 bushel crop like what we had this year, but I definitely expect a solid 80 to 85 bushel crop at least out of this anyways. As long as we just don't get too much rain this winter, and as long as we don't have a late freeze come next spring. Well guys, I think this will end this video. We're going to get this drill over to the Smith family farm where we're going to start cutting beans tomorrow. Got 130 acres of beans to get knocked out, and we'll be able to put the finishing touches on this year. We'll have Roy out here to finish drilling my cover crops behind these soybeans. That's the only thing out of 1,600 acres that we don't have planted into anything this fall, because the pilots, when they were aerial seating, did not want to do that field because of subdivision surrounding it. So we'll get him to get this knocked out while we get the beans cut. Hopefully day and a half, 2 days at the very most. I'll be going home at dark and kicking back in my recliner. Guys, appreciate y'all watching. I'll be sure to bring you along tomorrow for the last 2 days of harvest.